Hello, everybody. I am Jeremy, hopefully you know, and here is my friend Sultan. Sultan, how are you doing today?
I am fine, thank you.
And here where I am in Switzerland. It's already very cold, but you said in Kakuma the weather is pretty hot, right?
Yeah, when you see,
Yeah, you are wearing, I
sorry,
am wearing a sweater and another t-shirt, and I was
me
wearing a
only this
jacket. Yeah, so
simple t-shirt.
it's hot. So just to
Yeah,
explain, if you're new here, my name is Jeremy, and this is my friend Sultan, and I live in Switzerland, and I am an English teacher, and I'm trying to raise money for my friend who is a refugee from Yemen, currently living in a refugee camp in a city in northern Kenya. I'm going to show everybody a map, Sultan, then we can explain what we are doing. So here is Yemen, your home country. Uh,
yeah,
Sultan, what is the name of the city in Yemen where you come from originally? The
Mukalla.
Mukalla. So I'm going to type it. I probably cannot. Okay,
Yeah,
I found it. Here is
yeah,
Mukalla. So this is where Sultan is from
yeah,
originally, and you have not been
yeah,
there in many years because if you, the viewer, don't know, my camera is here and my computer's here. So there is a civil war in Yemen. And so from Mukalla, Sultan had to escape. And the story is pretty long, but first, Sultan, you flew to Sudan, right?
yeah,
And so you were in Khartoum airport for many
yeah.
days. And
I stay like even not one day. I come like 12 o'clock
yeah,
afternoon. Then I fly 12 o'clock in the morning, like 12 hour, like that.
okay, so just,
Yeah,
and at the airport in Khartoum, I mean, I know
yeah.
this story, but maybe the viewers don't know. Are people friendly or not friendly?
The people in Sudan is good, simple
Good
country,
people are,
simple people.
yeah,
Yeah,
Sudanese is
yeah,
good, but airport people in the airport,
yeah. They about
it's
me. I tell
okay?
him it's okay. People, it's not.
Okay, not so
But if
bad.
you know me, LGBT, he kill me that time. But I am not telling.
Okay, so that's what I mean is if in Sudan you say you are
Yeah,
LGBTI, you will not
yeah,
be surviving. But from Sudan, you actually went to Ethiopia?
yeah.
Is
I
this
go
correct?
by Ethiopia airplane
Yeah.
to Kenya, but he have transit in Ethiopia in
Yeah.
Addis Ababa
So
airport.
I mean, here in Addis Ababa is the capital of Ethiopia, which also now is not so good. There's a war in Ethiopia, there's a war in
Yeah,
Yemen, there's a war in South Sudan, and now
yeah,
you are, of course, in Kenya. Now, most people, they think Kenya, I will just explain one thing. Most people think Kenya, they think safari, they think lions and Nairobi maybe, but Kenya also in the north of Kenya, it's really hot and dry and desert, not
yeah,
beautiful. It's really nothing. And Kakuma
yeah.
is somewhere here. I'm gonna have to type it because I don't know exactly where it is. Now, Kenya has many nice things probably, but where you are now is Kakuma refugee camp. And how many years, Sultan, so I know this, but maybe they don't know. How many years have you been in the refugee system?
Refugee system 4 years, but in
4 years.
Kenya 5 years.
Kenya, 5 years. So the thing
Yeah,
is with the refugee system, it's really complicated. So first you are an asylum seeker, or no, first you
yeah.
are, yeah, asylum seeker, and
I am
then
still asylum seeker.
you're still asylum seeker. That's the thing. I think it takes, most people think, you know, when you live in your home country, you go to the government and you give them a paper. Okay, maybe it takes 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but Sultan has been an asylum seeker for 6, 7 years, right? Something like this.
Like
Oh,
four
I
years
mean,
now.
4 years in Africa, but before you were in Jordan also.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I'm just going to give a quick overview and then me and Sultan will talk some more. But so from Yemen uh, to Jordan up here, then back to Yemen down here, and also in Sudan, Ethiopia, and then now in Kenya. And so this is the basic situation. So for people who have never met me or Sultan on the internet. I'm living in Switzerland, but I'm American and Swiss. And Sultan is Yemeni, and he's an LGBT refugee in Kenya. He's a refugee both from the civil war in Yemen and also a refugee from being someone who identifies as LGBTI. And in Kenya, the situation is not very good, especially not in this refugee camp. So last year, for some good news, Sultan, because of the generous donations from the people in our GoFundMe campaign, which is what we're going to talk about today, you were able to travel to Nairobi to get some help for your medical problems.
Yeah.
And how many months did you stay in Nairobi?
5 months and 2 weeks.
And was it good to be in Nairobi? Was it nice?
The Nairobi is nice, is what is the weather is very nice. You can get it a good food, is
Yeah,
fresh food. You can get it by your money, any service you want. Like you need
exactly.
go hospital, you need go for buy clothes,
Yeah.
for service, for fix it mobile with engineer. You can make anything in Nairobi if you have money.
And so one thing to explain is that if you are in a refugee camp, you cannot, there's nothing, right? You have no fruits. And apple is really luxury in Kakuma. But in
Yeah,
Nairobi, you can eat fruits and vegetables and meat, and of course, rice and other things to eat. But at the end, you could not stay in Nairobi, I think, for two reasons. One, correct me if I'm wrong, there was a national election, and
yeah,
when there is an election in Kenya, sometimes there's violence,
yeah,
right? So it's not safe to stay in the capital city.
yeah.
And the other thing is that Sultan is not allowed to work in Kenya. Now, I don't know if you know this, dear viewer, but when you are a refugee or asylum seeker, most of the time you have no work permit. So, of course, Nairobi is much more expensive to stay. You have to pay every month for the apartment. Is that correct, Sultan?
Yeah, the problem for me now, I cannot work. I can't get
Yeah,
it any job because I'm still asylum seeker.
yeah,
I don't have ID. I don't have any
yeah,
paper. I don't have
exactly,
any license for go for job. That's a
exactly.
problem.
And so basically, if you guys don't understand this, you live in your own country, or if you live in a foreign country, you get like a visa that says you can work here. But if you're an asylum seeker, meaning you have not been granted asylum, you cannot work. The problem is now you're back in the camp. Being in the camp is free, but that means you get almost nothing, right? So you have I know already, but can you tell me again what food you get every day? What do you eat every day?
Only this rice and others.
Yeah,
So
and
yellow beans.
yellow
That is
beans.
star he give us, but that is food. Is small food he give
Yeah.
us. Yeah, like this food is enough for me. Like 7 day, 6 day, like that. Small food,
So
and
if
1 liter
of
oil cooking.
of oil for
Then
cooking oil.
everything you buy from outside. Every month in Star he give us $5 every month. five
Okay,
dollar.
okay, $5. Everybody, now it's not $5 per day. It's not $5 per week. It's $5 per month.
Yeah,
Okay,
but now
and
after
now so
election, he
the
give us $8 by month.
okay, eight
Now
dollars is
from
better.
August.
It's a little bit better, but it's still the camp is
Yeah,
really expensive, right? I mean,
yeah,
I think some people think, oh, refugee camp must be really cheap. Actually, not at all cheap because first of all, the camp is in the middle of nowhere. So everything has to be brought, but also there's a lot of corruption. So if you want to
yeah.
buy an apple or fresh cold water, it's really a luxury in the camp. It's how much do you have to pay if you want to buy a bottle of cold water, clean cold water?
Clean cold water and 1 liter and half is $half.
Half a dollar. Okay, so again,
Yeah,
sounds pretty cheap if you're living here in the West or in Asia, but half a dollar for a cold bottle of water when you are making $8 a month. let's do a quick calculation. I mean, I think it's interesting to do this. And if it's not interesting, I can edit later, but I'm gonna share the screen again. Let's do just because I want to show people. So let's do if we have
Yeah, but this is not
eight
enough.
dollars divided by 30. That
This
means,
one liter only, 1 liter cold
yeah,
water,
a 1 liter of
half the
cold
dollar.
water is
Yeah, but
two.
not enough.
It's not enough to drink, but I just want to show
Yeah,
people that you have
yeah,
about 26 US cents per day. That
yeah.
means a bottle of water is 2 days' salary for you, equivalent. So just if you are living in the United States, the average daily salary, if you're making minimum wage, which is just
Mm.
7.25 an hour, it's still like 20 times, 30 times what Sultan is making in a
Yeah.
month. So it is crazy. So I so for the video today, Sultan and I just kind of chatting, and I'm going to establish a new goal. And then we haven't really talked for a while, Sultan, but I think a good idea, just to give people an idea, is yeah, exactly. Can you show us a little bit more where you live? Is that okay?
That that's the room. But you see,
Mm-hmm.
that's 3 jerrycan, 20 liter. I
Yeah.
go for the tap. I fill that is jerrycan. Then I I move from this jerrycan. Then I drink like this direct.
Okay. And this is clean water, and it's free, but
It's not clean
not so
100%.
clean. Yeah, but you
Not
don't,
clean, not cold.
not cold. But you
Yeah,
don't get this water you can drink and your stomach is okay.
50-50. But
50-50. Okay. Yeah.
the problem is the money.
Yeah, well, then that's the thing. I mean, if you, not me and Sultan, but if you are living in a house where and I can do this, I can go to the kitchen and I can open the water and drink it and not die. But if you do this in the camp, you could really die. And speaking of die, you have malaria, and malaria is a disease that you're usually okay, and then bang, you have 2 weeks of fever or sometimes more, and it really damages the kidneys and the liver eventually. And how has that been? Have you had a fever a few weeks ago, right? I was talking to
Yeah,
you and you had a pretty high fever.
yeah. The FIFA, because the weather is very bad, it's very hot. Even sometime I have a problem, I don't know what's the problem. I go for hospital, I make check for my blood. The doctor he not understand because the lab in the hospital in Kakuma, if private hospital, is not have a lot all the material for you to understand which sickness I have. Then they
Exactly.
give me paracetamol like that. Then I eat. Then I don't know what happened. Then I pray, but sometime I make cold water. Then he
Yeah.
go.
And how, I mean, when you get sick, basically they just give you so paracetamol for pain and fever and just time. I mean, they don't really know exactly what's happening. Sometimes they give you some strange medication you didn't want to take a couple of years ago. I mean, this is the kind of thing I want people to understand that when you see on television some
Yeah.
kind of nice refugee camp where everybody's singing and happy, this is like totally false. The reality is it's really, really close to what we would have called a concentration camp, except they're not trying to kill you, I guess, but they're certainly not trying really to save you either. So, Sultan, are you going to show us something?
You say?
Yeah, I see. Where are you now?
Me, I move the the corner for the room. Then I bring some bag. You see this bag?
Yeah,
This bag. The time I come Kakuma 2019, and I come in I come Kakuma in March, but I used this from maybe June or July. I
yeah,
don't know exactly what time. You see now? You see?
yeah.
You see all this?
What is that?
That's all medicine I get from Kakuma. I
Oh,
come
wow.
up to now.
I say
You see?
I didn't know about this. I thought this was going to be like rice, but this is all basically like every time Sultan shows me, they give him
Yeah,
tons of drugs. So at least the medication is there, but who knows what these
yeah,
medications even do? You
yeah.
should
You see?
probably not keep that. I mean, it's probably too old. An inhaler, yeah.
Yeah, you see, a lot of medicine because situation for Kakuma is not good, not clean.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
like, for example, can you give me an idea, Sultan? How many times in 1 week can you take a shower? I mean,
shower
obviously,
2 time or 3 time by week.
and it's cold water, obviously, every time.
Yeah, I go for the tap. Is normal water. Is not
Yeah.
cold. Is not hot.
Okay,
I
but
take shower.
yeah,
Yeah,
but for European people, they might not understand because I think like here in Europe, everybody takes a hot shower with lots of soap and shampoo, and this is all like extremely luxurious for a refugee camp. This is Sultan's
all
shower, right?
this for shower. I go for the
Yeah,
tap. I make this 5 liter. Then
yeah,
I use it this like cup for shower.
yeah,
You see, this 5 liter is very small.
very small.
Yeah,
And but also for you, I mean, I'm not sure if it's important for you, but you are a Muslim, so do you pray sometimes?
I pray in my
But
room. I
yeah,
cannot
yeah,
go more
and
because
of
I take
course,
risk.
but do you have to do wudu? I forgot how to say it.
Yeah,
And this one, can you use
wudu. Yeah,
water? Can you do wudu or with water, or can you use sand?
I use it this. You see this?
Yeah. Oh yeah, sand. Because
Because if
it's
you not have water, you
yeah,
can
if
use this.
exactly, it's permissible in Islam. If you don't have water, you can use sand because it cleans you anyway. It's really good. It's just not really very nice. So Sultan, I know you have many goals, and it's been a long time. And there was COVID, and then there's a war
Yeah,
in another war. There's so many wars. A war in Ukraine. And we talked about your long-term goals before, and to remind everybody, long-term, absolutely 100%. Sultan wants to, of course, become an actual refugee with the asylum status, get out of this camp system and move into a Western country that accepts him for who he is as an LGBTQI Muslim man. But this is a long-term goal, and the money for this fundraiser will go all to Sultan. But do you have anything you want now? You know, like if you could something simple that people can understand why they should give you money, give me money, so I give you all the money. But why? If I look at the fundraiser now, the goal is 1,000, and we're at
yeah,
651. That's pretty good. All this money Sultan already has. But if we
yes,
can raise $350 more or more, what would you
yeah.
like to buy with this money? What are some of the things you need?
For me, you know, because that
And
is
I'm gonna
money he
actually
come
write
from
this down.
donor
Yeah.
cannot. I ask all the donor what I think I want. Me, I need uh, buy solar for give me this electric in my
Okay,
house.
yeah, that's really nice to
Yeah,
hear though. That yeah,
yeah,
solar's what do
because
you call
that I
solar
can make
cells?
charger for my phone. I buy some machine for kill the mosquito.
Exactly.
Yeah, even if me I need make water. I need clean the water. You can use
Yeah.
it. That is for clean the water.
Oh, so with solar electricity, you could do charge the phone, kill the mosquito, heat the water. That's really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. If I get it money, maybe I buy a laptop. Then I go for this website Coursera. I give me a free course for English for
Oh yeah,
anything.
Coursera. By
Yeah,
the way, your English has gotten really good, just to say, just from practice, I think. Maybe in Nairobi.
yeah. Even me, I need read English book. I need say a lot of course about
Yeah.
politics, about language, about human being, about volunteer. I write. I like that.
Yeah, just so everybody who hasn't watched Sultan and I's videos before, Sultan is from an educated background. He was living in Yemen. He went to school. He had a job. He was volunteering, and then the war happened, and then other things happened, and it just kind of crumbles out of existence. But a lot of the times, people donating to this fundraiser are my friends, so they know already. But if anybody here is new, I mean, like Sultan just mentioned, we're not using this money to like buy stupid things. This is really for important things, like you said, solar power, a laptop maybe, so you can take more courses to educate yourself. But in terms of like, you only eat rice and beans. And
Yeah,
I know a few months ago, you could buy some fruits and some water and you were really happy, is that
Yeah,
something you want to buy again? I mean, I think like if you're out there and you want to donate money, just think about the fact that if you donate $25, this is something Sultan can use to buy, for example, 25 is pretty good to buy fruits. You can buy a lot of fruits with that much. Or, you know, in the camp, there's a lot of theft. So if his cell phone is stolen, he could buy a new one. This happened before. And then the solar power is, but I mean, if you had your own money, so let's change the topic. If you had your own money, what would you like to buy? Just your dream.
yeah. I need buy bicycle, by
Mm,
like $200 because that is I can go for another area for maybe I go for school for NHR
yeah,
because I have school, but it's very far from my house.
yeah,
And I need to go follow in my case with office for government. It's very far. The town. If I need to go with this is not bicycle. And Kakuma no bicycle, no taxi. For motor bicycle, you need
yeah.
money for go from the camp to town, go
Okay,
back, follow in my
yeah.
case. That is I need money for transfer. I don't have.
And
That's
it's
bicycle.
yeah, so bicycle would be really good because like Sultan was saying, he sometimes needs to go into Kakuma. So Kakuma camp is not
Yeah,
inside Kakuma city, and you can walking is really far, and the camp
yeah,
is also really big. Like people might think a camp is like, I don't know, 400 square meters. No, no, no. There's like hundreds of thousands of people living in Kakuma camp. There are people
yeah,
from all over the war-torn world. And so Sultan needs to go actually see the United Nations uh, UNHCR. I can never remember what it stands for, but anyways, to go
yeah,
actually see them so that he can push his asylum because it's been 4 years in this camp, almost five, and it doesn't go very far for many reasons. But one main reason is just what we would say in English is gridlock. So bicycle will be another thing. So we talked about solar panels to help you have electricity, kill mosquitoes, heat your water. Of course, a
yeah,
laptop, which also you
yeah.
need electricity. Bicycle would be really good as well. Um, yeah, I mean, these are some of the goals. I know today's video is pretty long and I hope everybody watched, but I hope Sultan, I mean, it's, okay, I have two feelings. One feeling is I feel happy because we did through several fundraisers raise some good money for you. But the other feeling is I feel really sad because I really wish I could raise more money and do more, but I realize like people in these NGOs, they don't really have time or they don't really care because I have contacted so many times. They said they contact me back and they don't. And then so I decided a few years ago, and we're still here to raise money myself. So this holiday season, specifically if you are a Westerner, there's going to be Christmas, and think about how much money we spend on junk we don't need. This year, if you could take, I don't know, if you're spending $500 on Christmas presents, I'm certainly not doing that, but take 25% of that and donate to somebody. And if you can, donate to Sultan. I mean, like, it's much better use of your money, to be honest. I think it's much better use of your money than to donate to Starbucks or Amazon, these giant mega corporations who could do a lot, but they don't do anything for the people around the world, including my friend Sultan here, who has been living in this really precarious situation for a really long time. I mean, just think about what it's like if you don't see your family for years and years and years, if you don't have a family anymore, if you escape from violence and retribution for your sexual orientation or gender identity. I mean, Sultan, can you tell us one more thing about you, how you feel these days? I mean, what is your feeling?
My feeling is bad, especially the time I get up in the night because I have a lot of bad dream the time I sleep.
What?
Yeah, that is. Yeah, every day in the night, the time I sleep, I get a bad dream. Then I get up like that. Then small time I can't sleep in the night. That's the
And
problem.
and do you have
Yeah,
any friends there in the camp anymore or not really?
I have small people, but it's not 100% his friend.
Yeah. because
Yeah,
everybody in the camp is kind of like fighting for food and water. It's like,
yeah,
it's not like humans really. You guys become really difficult
yeah,
situation. Well, Sultan,
yeah.
I will keep talking to you, but I just want to stop the recording and then we just talk. But thank you if you watched, and if you can donate, I would really appreciate it, and Sultan would appreciate even more. This is just a non-professional thing on my part, so you know the editing I will do a little bit, but basically, thank you so much for watching. Uh, I will stop the recording, but I'm going to keep talking to Sultan because he's my friend. So Sultan, well, I'm going to say bye to everybody who's watched. If you can say quickly something to the people, not to me. I still talk to you.
Okay, all people who donate me before or now and the future, thank you very much for helping me. That is help, the small help you give me. You see that is help is small, but me, I see him is a very, very big help because me, I don't have anything. Don't worry. If you have 1 cent, send that is 1 cent. Don't worry about that 1 cent. Me, I see him is very big. That's 1 cent. He give me some help.
So everybody, you heard what he said. Even for you, if it's
Thank
just
you.
1 cent, send it to Sultan. Thank you very much.